much. My name's Sarah. Can I get a sad, desperate, but powerful cheer from anyone who's single in the audience tonight? Great. You and me, buddy. You and me, buddy. I am, of course, with you, and I am convinced, after a lot of thinking, that in 2023, if you were serious about finding love in Australia, if you were deadly serious about finding love, you do one of two things. You join a regional church community at the age of 18. They have like a 100% hit rate of getting people together like very quickly. Maybe there are some in tonight. Congratulations, if so. Or, and more pertinently to me, you would join a show like The Bachelor, or in my case, The Bachelorette. Yes, thank you so much. That is the appropriate response. That is learn. And I fucking absolutely would go on The Bachelorette. Are you kidding? I absolutely would go on The Bachelorette. I absolutely would hang out with a handful of mediocre men for monetary gain. I've worked at a rebel sport. I've already done it. And I didn't even parlay that into a commercial radio gig, just 10% off footwear. Thanks, Brenda. But I kind of I know what's going on if I'm the Bachelorette. Like, I get it. I know that if I'm the Bachelorette, that the franchise is in its last dying, gasping breaths. And they've tried everything, Sydney. They've tried it all. They've tried the Bachelorette with twins, siblings, truck drivers, MMA fighters. They've done Wife Wants a Farmer. Does she? And they're on to the final version, a bachelorette who is a human woman who can barely tolerate the company of a handful of men who are dressed like they're set to do coke at the races for a whole afternoon. Your blazer and pants don't match, Matt. What's that about? Why are your ankles out, man? Why are your ankles out? But I just want us to suspend our disbelief. You're fine. I just want us to suspend our disbelief for a second. I want you to imagine that we're not in the beautiful factory theatre, that we're in fact on the set of The Bachelorette, and I've made it, and it's my first episode. Osher, sweet, kind Osh is there. He's contractually obliged to be there visibly against his will for like 85 seasons, and I'm there in a gown that costs 6 months' rent, and the guys are there in their weird little outfits, and it's the rose ceremony. I get to pick who I want, and Osher's there, and he says, "Sarah, here are all your roses. Who's going to move forward today?" And I say, "Osher, with all due respect, I won't be giving out any roses today or for the rest of the season. For a number of reasons, Osher. Firstly, I'm not sure any of these men have real jobs. Josh described himself as a nutritional dietetics analyst. That's just 3 words, really, he's put together, isn't it? Isn't it, Osher? And Marvin said he was a thought leader in his field. Heard a few of his, not sure it's his calling. And that aside, Osher, I can't take any of this seriously because I feel like I'm in an MJ Bale ad. In fact, I think I am in an MJ Bale ad, Osher. And all these men, very good looking, just 12 sets of cheekbones. They're way out of my league, but at the same time, I'm out of their league, Osher. So you know what I mean? So no roses today, can you imagine? The Daily Mail gets 3 years' worth of material from one episode. I go on to become a polarising figure in the media. I write a deeply uninteresting but best-selling memoir that Mamma Mia describes as brave. That's a Pulitzer Prize for Australian women. Did you know that? But look, this feels like a safe space, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's these guys or you. But I feel like I can be vulnerable with you and say that the main reason I would go on The Bachelorette is to avoid ever having to date anyone ever again. It's really rough out there. It is. My mate, he knows. And it's the worst. It's the whole thing. And, you know, I think the worst part about dating, I don't know what you think, but I think the worst part about dating is ghosting. If you've never been ghosted, congratulations. It's when you're talking to someone and they disappear. Or you set up a date with them and they don't show up, never to be seen again. And it occurred to me that maybe the reason people ghost, maybe the reason people do this, it's so rude, is that they're not creative enough to come up with an excuse to never see someone again. We can't all be creative, if you know what I mean. Which is fine. So in a profound act of community service for you guys tonight, I've gone ahead and come up with a bulletproof list of reasons that you can give someone to never see them again instead of ghosting them. It's absolutely foolproof, and to make this really digestible, I've put this together for you as a sea shanty. And I hope that's okay. I've got some friends on to sing it with me, so hit the track. If you have a date and you don't want the date and you need to get out of the date, there are things you can say to get out of the date. Just don't ghost your date. You can say that you're sick, that your tum hurts a bit. You can say you've been called away. You can say your dog died or you're watching The Wire and you can't pull yourself away. Hey! If you have a date and you don't want the date and you need to get out of the date, there are things you can say to get out of the date. Just don't ghost your date. Say something came up, you can keep it vague as fuck. You can be specific as well. You were helping your mom paint, suddenly she felt faint and off a ladder she fell. She fell to the ground and her pulse you found. It was faint, it was touch and go. So you stole a car, drove her to the ER. She lived and you're a hero. I'm so sorry, but you can't make the fucking date though. Hey, if you have a date and you don't want the date and you need to get out of the date, there are things you can say to get out of the date. Just don't ghost your date. Your car broke down, your pet chinchilla drowned, you're in prison without parole. You are out on an amble and with zero preamble, abducted in plain sight on the road. You were bound and gagged, on your head a bag. You were breathing through a small hole. Then they let you free, mistaken identity, beat concussion from the baseball bat blow. I was abducted, so I can't make the fucking date though. Hey, if you have a date and you don't want the date and you need to get out of the date, there are things you can say to get out of the date. Just don't ghost your date. When for a skydive never felt so alive, then your parachute would not untie. You went plummeting down head first in the ground, then you literally died. You were literally dead, damage to the head, police tape all over the road. There was a police inspector, you returned as a spectre. You didn't ghost, but you're an actual ghost. I'm dead, so I can't make the fucking date though. Everybody, if you have a date and you don't want the date and you need to get out of the date, there are things you can say to get out of the date. Just don't ghost your date. That's it. I'm Sarah Gaul. Thanks so much.